Hello and welcome to another edition of On Our Terms, a video series by AIA Contract Documents. I am Jimmy Germano. I'm joined by my colleague Mike Koger, and we are both attorneys based in the Washington, D.C. area working with the AIA Contract Documents Committee. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Superintendent, which is found in AIA A201 2017 Section 3.9. As always, it's important to remember that we can't provide legal advice, and our full disclaimer is at the end of this video. With that, Mr. Koger, take it away.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. So let's talk about the contractor superintendent. As Jimmy mentioned, you're going to find the requirements of the contractor superintendent in Section 3.9 of the A201. As always, if you're using our abbreviated A101 or A105 documents as the owner-contractor agreement, the superintendent requirements might be slightly different than what you'll see in this video. So take a look at the specifics of those contracts if you're using them. So here is what the A201 has to say about the contractor superintendent. The contractor is required to employ a competent superintendent and necessary assistants who shall be in attendance at the project site during performance of the work. So this is someone who has a daily presence at the site. The second sentence states that the superintendent shall represent the contractor, and communications given to the superintendent shall be binding as if given to the contractor. So it's important to point out here that the communications referred to in this section involve the type of communications that relate to the activities at the site. The superintendent is not going to be authorized to agree to changes in the work or otherwise change the contractual arrangement between the owner and the contractor. That's the role of the contractor's authorized representative, who should be identified in the owner-contractor agreement. So if you are using the A101, A102, or A103, the contractor's authorized representative is going to be someone who is listed in those agreements, and it's going to be, it very likely is going to be someone who is different than the contractor's superintendent. I also want to read a quote actually from the AIA's official commentary to the 2007 version of the A201, which still applies to this language because it was mostly unchanged in the 2017 version of the A201. I find this quote kind of funny, so I'm going to read it. It says, "A superintendent cannot build a project alone, but an incompetent superintendent can single-handedly ruin one. And for that reason, the owner and architect must insist that the contractor designate a competent and experienced superintendent." When I read that the other day, as I was looking through the commentary, it kind of it made me think, I'm sure that some owners and architects who got burned by bad superintendents probably were the ones who insisted that that language be in our commentary. If you want an idea of what superintendents do on a day-to-day basis, I mean, you're not going to find that in our A201, but the kind of things that they're going to do are things like coordinating the work of subcontractors, procuring materials and equipment, other kinds of job site coordination, scheduling. They're going to be overseeing the work that the general contractor is required to do on the project. Sections 3.9.2 and 3.9.3 further recognize the importance of the project of a qualified superintendent. The contractor is required to provide the owner and architect with a proposed superintendent's qualifications. The owner and architect then has the opportunity to object to the proposed superintendent within 14 days or request additional time to review. It's important to point out here that the failure to respond in either form, however, is deemed as having no reasonable objection. Once a superintendent is in place, the owner has an interest in seeing the superintendent remain on the project until the project is completed. However, it's possible that the contractor may choose to relocate the superintendent to serve the interests of the contractor's business. Requiring the owner's consent to a change in superintendent may discourage that kind of a practice, which is the intent of the last sentence in Section 3.9.3. So that's the job site superintendent. Jimmy, did I miss anything?
Sorry, I was on mute. I have just a quick question, and a lot of our clauses have capitalized terms throughout, and when you were reading that first section of the superintendent clause, a lot of those words were capitalized, but the phrase competent superintendent is not capitalized. And I was just wondering if you were, as you were preparing for this video, did you come across anything that kind of gave a little flavor as to how, is there like some kind of standard to determine whether or not a super is competent or not? Has that ever been like litigated or anything? Do you know?
As far as I know, it has not. I mean, I did not find any, case results on Westlaw or anything that had that particular issue debated. Are you aware of anything along those lines?
I'm not, no. And so I just like randomly had that thought as you were going through them. That'd be an interesting thing to like dive into.
Yeah, to me, that's kind of it's an objective standard, but it's also one that is, you can imagine there being something that would be argued on both sides. It's not something that we have like a hard definition in our A201 that says, all right, a competent superintendent is someone who has these specific qualifications. It is probably very job site specific and project specific. So, you can imagine arguments that someone who's only worked on residential projects of a small scale in the past is not competent to do a high-rise in Manhattan. That's like a kind of a factor that would be a consideration there. But
Sure.
As far as I know, I didn't see any actual cases that actually discussed it.
Sure.
That doesn't mean they're not out there. There may be some. So anything else?
That's it. Thanks.
Okay. So if you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this or even longer form videos where we discuss AIA contracts related issues, go to our Learn page on our website at aiacontracts.org/learn. You can also ask us questions about our content of our documents at docinfo@aia.org. If you have tech support questions about our software, go to docstechsupport@aia.org. Also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube page where we post most of this kind of content. Also, just to point out, we cannot provide legal advice on this program, so if you do have a specific legal question about your project or some issue that you're working through, talk to a local attorney who can actually help you out with the specifics of your problem. Thank you very much for watching this video.